and this is fighting to simply be children again. Now that's a great question. Now for those of you who weren't listening, her question was why? Why did these kids join the Hitlerjugend if they were only going to encounter, in basic terms, survival of the fittest? Why weren't the Edelweiss pirates more aggressive in their protest? Well, I want you to think about this. What if you didn't have the proper body measurements to become a part of the master race? What if you weren't considered pure enough to continue on the race of your people? You would have to go home to mom and dad and try to explain that you didn't pass, you weren't good enough, and you were going to bring shame to them. Your mom and dad would be so disappointed, and your friends that did get chosen would endlessly torment you and publicly ridicule you for a long time. And you would have to go about your daily life and be constantly reminded that you will never, ever be good enough. Now, if you did get chosen, there was a large amount of stress put on you, because you are now considered a part of the master race, which consisted of studying war tactics, peer pressure, hazing, grueling exercise, and a blind faith in the Führer. And the Edelweiss pirates were aggressive, but they were aggressive in different areas. The Edelweiss pirates were fighting to simply be children again. Until the 1930s, all non-Jewish children in Germany from the ages of 10 to 19 were required to join the Hitlerjugend, otherwise known as the Hitler Youth. It limited their freedoms as children and required for them to follow a strict training regimen aimed at building an army. The Edelweiss Pirates were an association of former Hitler Youth boys and girls who began exchanging ideas about different gender mingling and ways to not follow the strict training regimen at preparing for war. And they were split into smaller gangs throughout Germany and would collectively ignore Hitler Youth social events and would just do things a child would do. And as the war progressed, the Edelweiss pirates became more aggressive in their protest. From harboring war deserters to concentration camp prisoners to conducting armed military raids to sabotaging war production work, all the while encountering the SS and their cruel and unusual punishment. The Edelweiss pirates are a story of how even the smallest person can make the biggest impact. When Hitler created the Hitler Youth, he had a vision of a new generation of Nazi Germany. The weak must be chiseled away. I want young men and women who can suffer pain. A young German must be as swift as a greyhound, as tough as leather, and as hard as Krupp steel. He believed that the next generation of Nazi Germany was in the hands of its children. The Hitler Youth was so important to the Führer that it was just compared to being just as important as school. The Hitler Youth was started in 1922 in hopes to create the strong master race of Germany. By 1933, when Hitler became chancellor, there was 100,000 enrolled members, and let's just say that attendance wasn't very high. But when Hitler did become chancellor, 2 months into his chancellorship, with help of the Enabling Act, or Das Ermächtigungsgesetz, the Enabling Act, with the help of the Enabling Act, he could make Hitler Youth a compulsory activity because the Enabling Act could Hitler Youth could become a compulsory activity, and was forced. Now, during the period of Nazi Gleichschaltung, or called forced coordination, nearly 400 Hitler Youth, nearly 400 other non-Nazi organizations, large and small, were either disbanded or Nazified. In 1936, nearly 5.4 million members were enrolled, and it was now a compulsory activity. And most people, teachers included, were not very happy with this decision. The curriculum was too hard on the children. They were so tired from being at the late night Hitler Youth meetings that they couldn't focus the next day at school. And also by 1936, participation was so low that by the 1939 law, it really picked up. The attendance really picked up. All right, class, settle down. I'm getting a call. Yeah. You can't be serious. But sir, you can't be serious. The Nazi curriculum is too hard on these children. They're so tired and they can't focus in school. You can't be. Yes, sir. I will let the children know. All right, class, settle down. Now, I have just been informed by the principal that all school organizations have been canceled permanently. All right, now settle down. I know this is a shock, but the Führer himself has issued it, so we must go through with it. And in replace of all other organizations will be the mandatory attendance of the Hitler Youth. All boys and girls ages 10 to 13 will report to Deutsches Jungvolk at the end of the day. And all boys and girls from ages 14 to 18 will be required to join the Hitler Jugend. All right, now open your textbooks to page 394. See, the Hitler Jugend is not a very good organization. It was quite stressing, and no one liked it because it forced our children to get out of their comfort zone, and it caused a lot of children to have a lot of mental problems, and it was just not a good organization. You see, I did not like the Hitler Youth the moment it began. But it limited my freedom as a child, and, it limited my freedom as a child, and I didn't get to do what I wanted. But I did like Deutsches Jungvolk because I got to do a lot of things a child would do. I got to play outside, I got to play lots of games, and I got to join the other older boys in some of the activities they do. But once I transferred over to the Hitler Jugend, my life started to consist of studying, a lot of training, grueling exercise, and it was just terrible because I'm just so speechless that I can't even remember what I was going to say. And they forced us to do a lot of really, really scary things. Like, they forced us to run a lot, hopping up and down, running through filth, and they made us do these acts of courage, which basically, like, one of them forced us to run out onto open water over these 5-meter boards and jump into water, and some boys couldn't swim, forcing them to climb up the sides of the ravines without any proper support. It was horrible. It was just a survival of the fittest. I heard that in fun camp, that one boy drowned in the swimming pool because they forced him to swim, and he wasn't a very good swimmer. But it's just no way to live. But there's this group in Cologne called the Navajos. They are parts of this organization called the Edelweiss Pirates. And it just sounds so free.
heard that the traveling dudes in Essen, they beat up Hitler Youth patrols. I want to join so badly, but the punishments, they're cruel. The SS or the Schutzstaffen, I'm sorry, they publicly torture them, they publicly hang them, they put them into work camps, and it's just awful. I want to join so badly, but I can't. And I heard that 13 children in Cologne, part of the Edelweiss pirates, were hanged publicly for planning a bomb plot on the Gestapo. Hello, my name is Bartholomew Schink, and I am an Edelweiss pirate. I will not be able to grow old. I will not be able to fall in love. I will not be able to have children, but you know what? I'm okay with this. For so long, I was forced to follow this blind faith that this big man just made me to follow, but I'm dying for something worthwhile because finally I got to think for myself. Now, you see, the Edelweiss pirates were so annoying to Hitler, but it really made Hitler quite paranoid, because it actually forced Hitler to bump up his security. And he was so paranoid that the Edelweiss pirates would come back and rise up again that he actually set bounties out for them. And most of you are asking, why does this even matter? It's just a group of kids. But the thing is, these kids were a beacon of hope to others, to show that not all adults can have all the fame. These kids, in Germany, they're seen as this punk group of kids that just went against the law for fun. But here, they're fighting for bravery. They were fighting to have a voice again. These kids were fighting to simply be children again. Now that concludes my lesson. Are there any questions?
Will you marry me?